Hello, this is Father Michael Lilly. Today I'm going to be doing a little quick post upon a topic that is been bothering me a little bit, because there's a little bit of miscommunication out there, and that's regarding the status of the Oriental Orthodox churches. So the Oriental Orthodox churches would also be known as the churches in the historical area of Egypt. So the Coptic Church, the Ethiopian Church, the Syrian Orthodox churches, and the various churches in India that do not hold to the Fourth Ecumenical Council, the Council of Chalcedon. So these churches are also known as non-Chalcedonian churches. We tend to lump them in as Orthodox, and for this reason, there's some confusion about whether or not they are of the Orthodox Church, of the Chalcedonian Church, the Holy Eastern Orthodox churches that we know throughout the world. I even had an old parishioner who was confused on this matter, and that is because over the last several decades, there have been attempts to draw closer between the Oriental, the non-Chalcedonian churches, and the greater Orthodox Church. But what has separated us historically is the doctrine of monophysitism, which is basically a doctrine that at the Chalcedonian Church separated us over the two natures of Christ, whereas the Chalcedonian churches would say that Christ has two natures, both divine and human, where the non-Chalcedonian churches would have historically put in or believe that Christ had one nature, so one nature, and so this is to the detriment of both the divinity and the humanity of Christ, and so this is the doctrine that separated the churches historically. As of recently, in the last few decades, there has been some theological gatherings to try to straighten out what the actual teachings are. And I think what the consensus is there have been some terminological differences in the way these two churches have understood each other and what we actually believe. And you'll see that many people still say that today that the churches teach and believe the very same thing. Even we have statements from Orthodox seminaries that propose this. And far be it from me to say what these churches believe. I am not a member of them, but just from historical precedents and from the teachings of the fathers, we see that there is a difference in the theology between these two churches. This is what's kept us separated for so long. So we do not share communion. They're not in communion with us, though I have heard of certain churches giving a pass to Oriental Orthodox to come and commune, and they look the other way. This is not correct. We are not in full communion with these churches. So, brothers and sisters, I have a lot of admiration for these churches. They are churches full of martyrs. They have some historical greatness to them. They are some of the original churches founded. There are some very pious, kind people. I know of several of them who I went to school with and are now clergy. Pious, very pious people and true and believers of Christ, but we are separated. We're separated by a theology, and if some claim that we're not, then it is up to churches, both churches, to come together and proclaim that we agree the same. But we can't do that because we don't, and the Oriental Orthodox churches will not accept the Council of Chalcedon, of the Fourth Ecumenical Council, as a legitimate council. So this separates us, and tragically it remains today. And so we're not in communion, and we are not of the same church. Just to give a little clarity on some background on that, because it is a little confusing when we have Orthodox seminaries and Orthodox priests and clerics and even bishops that seem to be a little bit ambiguous in saying exactly what the relationship is between non-Chalcedonian and Chalcedonian churches. So, brothers and sisters, God bless you. I wish you well, and let us each pray for each other that the Church of God may be all united in one accord one day in the near future.